Hello Virgo, and welcome to your monthly tarot advice video for March. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently here in this video, so you'll have to let me know how you enjoy it. And as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest. And if anything does happen to resonate, you'll have to let me know in the comments down below. That's always my favourite part of giving people tarot readings, is hearing back from them. And if you'd like to book an in-depth personal tarot reading with me, I now offer video readings, and those are linked down below. But how have you been, Virgo? I won't lie to you, I always get a little bit nervous recording Virgo videos because it's like, what if the cards decide to call us both out, you know? Sometimes the universe feels a bit harsh, okay, as a Virgo. It doesn't go the way I want. Let's see what we have coming out for you here. So we have the Four of Pentacles, Three of Wands, Seven of Wands, King of Swords. I almost said Queen of Swords. King of Swords and the Moon. This is so funny because I think it was Cancer that received... I think they received the Queen of Swords and then the Moon, which is so funny. So there might be some overlap, and also there is the Chariot on the bottom of the deck there. So there may be some overlap. Oh, and then the Queen of Cups is there as well. Okay. Yeah, there might be some cross watches here. Some maybe you have some Cancer in your chart as well. Maybe you might want to check out Cancer's video. Interesting. I wonder if when we clarify, if your advice will be similar to theirs. But let's begin at the beginning with the current energy for the month, and that is the Four of Pentacles. And there was somebody else that had the Four of Pentacles as their current energy. I think for you, Virgo, this is about letting go of having these rigid ideas and ideas for how things should work out. I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I find Virgos have a habit of being a silent planner, and they plan out every step along the way, but they don't tell anybody. So when they step out of line, you get upset. And it's like, but you didn't even tell them, you know, where the line was. And I think that could be an energy for you here. And I think that's why it also leads into the Three of Wands, because the Two of Wands is all about the planning. The Three of Wands is about the action after the plans. You're such a good planner, Virgo. You really are. But all that planning is useless if you never actually take action. And again, this specific position is all about work and career and purpose, projects, hobbies. So keep planning. You're great at it. But learn to take action, and that might be why the Chariot's coming out for you here. It might be that you do need to start putting your foot to the pedal and making some movement here. I feel like you're waiting for the perfect moment to start. When I feel ready, when this happens, when that happens, and there's no perfect time. Sometimes you just have to start. I think a big theme for you right now in relationships, friendships, love, is setting boundaries. You don't have to justify yourself for setting boundaries, but understanding why you need a certain boundary for yourself is something different. You don't have to tell people why you set this boundary, but understanding for yourself that this is something I need, because if this boundary is crossed, it's XYZ. If this happens, then, you know, I think that's very important for you, is setting boundaries and not letting people walk all over them, and understanding that it's okay to walk away from people that don't respect your boundaries. Again, we have the King of Swords here, and also the Queen of Cups. So I am picking up on a lot of Cancer energy. It's also maybe making me think about maternal energy. I think having to, with sticking to your boundaries, being mature about it and not fighting about it, understanding when to walk away, when to hold your tongue, you know, when to let things go in your mind, because I feel like the King of Swords in this energy is like, you know there's been an injustice, you know someone has crossed a line, whatever it is, but having the maturity to not get argumentative, to not stoop down to their level when having discussions, I think is a big thing for you right now, Virgo. And for advice and the best way to move forward this month, we have the moon. So again, I think it is just dropping the illusions. I think that's how I said it for Cancer. It's like you sometimes have to hold the mirror up to yourself, drop the curtain for yourself, and see what's back there. And sometimes you have to do that in relationships, and sometimes you have to do that within yourself. But we will clarify and get a little bit deeper. So let's clarify what this Four of Pentacles is. What is this Four of Pentacles that maybe you're holding on to tightly to? What is this thing that you might need to let go? So we have the Four of Cups. I feel like it's just understanding that what's happened has happened. You know, the mess has been made. It's about how we clear it up and how we move forward, instead of crying about who spilt what and who broke this, you know, who broke that, you know. Just understanding that it's broken, it needs fixing, and how we move on. And I think that's where you're building your maturity right now, Virgo. I think you having plans is very useful for you, but you need to have the right plan for when things go wrong as well. I feel like that's what you're not planning for. You plan for when things go well, not when things go awry. So let's see what this Three of Wands is. This is planning and movement and action, specifically in work, career, and purpose. Excuse me. So let's see what we have coming out for you. We have the Queen of Cups again. We have the Devil. So I think this is really just sticking to your guns when it comes to your plans. And the Eight of Cups. Understanding when the plan is no longer serving you, when you need to walk away, but also cutting out the bad habits, the negativity, whatever this devil is, whatever this chain is, whatever this low vibrational thing is, having the maturity to not let it get in the way. I feel like this feels like personal problems being involved in your work, in your career, and it might be where you have to be quite emotional and intuitive in your career, and you struggle to do that when you are struggling. I think you need to find a way to plan around this, Virgo. And for the Seven of Wands, setting boundaries in relationships and love, I think is very much the message for this one here. But let's clarify this. Let's clarify the Seven of Wands. And is that the Knight of Cups? I think it's just you're learning and you're growing here. And sometimes you have to take a step away, take a step back, and spend some time with yourself before you can form the best boundaries on how you move forward. And it is a learning curve, and you're allowed to change. You're allowed to set a boundary and then think, actually, you know what, this does not work for me, I need to change this. That's not a bad thing, but it's how you communicate it. I feel like you have a hard time not making things be emotional, especially when you're trying to, because I feel like that's what the Queen of Cups is here. You're very sensitive about these things. I think that's why you get so emotional, because it does hurt so much when these little boundaries are crossed. For the King of Swords, we have the Two of Swords and we have Strength. So again, it's having patience in your home life, your family life, your personal life. Having patience. I think the Two of Swords here is very interesting, because the Two of Swords, I feel like, is patient to a fault here. I feel like you're so patient that you become indecisive. You don't move. Usually when I talk about the Strength card, I talk about the gentle, the slow, the kind patience, you know? The waves breaking the rock, slow and steady. But for you, I feel like you become paralyzed by indecision. You become stuck. So sometimes it's about knowing when to go and knowing when to stay. And I feel like that's why you have Strength and the Chariot here, because you need to understand when to go, when to put your foot on the gas here, Virgo. And we have the moon as your advice or your best way to navigate the month. And I'm really interested to see how this is clarified. So what is this moon for Virgo here? What is the advice for them? How do they best navigate this month? Let's see. Ooh. We have the Four of Swords and the World. I think this is a struggle that you might be having, is between rest and endings, you know? Taking a break, having space, rest, and ending something, having closure, closing that chapter and moving on to something new is very different things. I feel like when you take a break, you end up stalling and you can't start the car again and it feels so slow. I think the big thing for you is keeping that momentum going and understanding like you're not the type of person that can set boundaries like other people, have breaks like other people. Sometimes you do need momentum. Maybe your situation is different from others. So, you know, when people thrive in having rest and relaxation, you might thrive in keeping going. I think sitting still, being stagnant is what is causing a lot of this negativity for you right now, Virgo. I was 111 on my timer there. But that is everything I have for your reading. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things, and I shall see you all in the next one. I truly appreciate you.